Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, we have a bunch of new card reveals to take a look at from the sets Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia, which will of course be joining our main Mega Evolution set. Mega Evolution, I know, 0 points for creativity in that name. But yeah, on to the new card reveals. We have a Mega Absol EX, which has 208 HP, which is honestly kind of fragile in this day and age. Like, it's nothing too crazy. Like, yeah, it's not rubbish. Like, this thing will take a hit most of the time, but it's still not a million miles away off like most basic EXs and most stage 1 EXs as well. So, I guess something to think about when it's giving up 3 prize cards. But yeah, it has 2 attacks, Doom Period and Cruel Claw. I think Cruel Claw is like a bit of a weaker attack. It only does 200 damage for 3 energy, which seems a bit expensive. You do get to discard a card from your opponent's hand, so maybe with Xerasic this could be disruptive, but overall I don't think that attack is particularly impressive to me at least. But the first attack, Doom Period, is worth talking about. A Dark and a Colorless. If your opponent's active Pokemon has exactly 6 damage counters on it, that Pokemon is knocked out. So I think the first thing to take a look at here is the fact that it has to have exactly 6. Like, you can't get away with like any excess damage from Frostlass or anything. Like, this has to be precisely 6 damage, which is a bit annoying to be honest, but because it takes Dark Energy, we can use things like Munkidori. So I do think Mega Absol could be very scary with Munkidori if we get any other like proper energy acceleration for this. Like, we are going to talk about a Cinderace later on in the video, which could be energy acceleration for this guy, but overall I do think you'll need some kind of like item or supporter card that just accelerates energy to Mega Evolutions, because otherwise this is a bit awkward, like taking 2 energy. Like, you could use Crispin, Turbo Energize, things like that, the Cinderace that we'll talk about, but overall I do think this card is like it's good, right? But I do think it needs a bit more to make it work. But yeah, it could be quite scary because this has got major 1 kill potential for just 2 energy and it's a basic. So yeah, could be quite scary overall. So that's Mega Absol. Then we also got Mega Marwile, so 270 HP, like kind of approaching fragile levels there. That has 2 attacks, Big Bite and Greedily Devour. Big Bite is kind of interesting actually. It does 260 for 3 energy, but if your opponent's active is already damaged in any way, you only do 30, which is definitely a bit awkward. So like, you can only hit like a very clean, fresh Pokemon with this. You won't be able to like do chip damage with Munkidori beforehand or Frostlass. So that's kind of annoying because like the damage modifiers we have right now won't really let you KO other Pokemon aside from like maybe other Mega Basics with things like Choice Belt or something. But yeah, overall I don't think Big Bite is that. Yeah, it's nothing that crazy, but it's still like a really solid amount of damage. Just be able to chuck out against a Pheasant or something. So that's nice. Also got Greedily Devour, which for 2 Meta Energy does 80 damage for each prize card you have taken so far. So even after you've just taken 2 prize cards, this will be doing 160, which honestly isn't that bad. And then what's that? 3 prize cards, you're doing 240. Like, yeah, I think this is honestly a really solid attack. Like, again, I think this still needs some additional energy acceleration. Like, I feel like at this point we're probably going to see some sort of mega patch in this set that will let you accelerate a basic energy to one of your bench megas or something, because I just don't see like how you're going to be able to consistently get these attacking without like Crispin and things getting a bit awkward. Like, the standard format right now just feels a bit too fast for attackers like these. Like, you need something a bit more than this, but I do think overall it's a very nice attacker to have to consider for the future as well. And maybe in like Matang Goldengo decks that play or maybe not Goldengo Matang, but like Matang whatever else gets played with Matang these days, like Duraludon, I guess. Like Duraludon's a nice one, I guess. Like, Duraludon will get you your 2 Metal Energy, so something to consider at the very least. But yeah, that's Mega Marwile. Doesn't seem that bad at all. Then we have Acerolar's Mischief, which says you can only use this card only if your opponent has 2 or fewer prize cards remaining, which is a bit awkward. And choose one of your Pokemon in play, and during your opponent's next turn, prevent all damage from effects of attacks done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. So that will, of course, extend to Megas. Pretty interesting supporter. Like, it doesn't have a whole ton of synergy with the Megas, just based on the fact that it's quite an awkward prize trade. Like, typically, I think with Megas, you want your opponent to KO a single prize Pokemon, and then like, well, a Mega Evolution, then a single prize, and then like maybe another Mega, or like maybe a Mega, a 2 prize, and then a Mega. But like, I don't think the prize mapping really aligns that well for the upcoming Megas. Like, maybe for the current EXs, it maps out a bit better, but I think if your opponent knows you're playing Acerolar's Mischief, they'll also like try and play around it. I do think this card has like really solid potential. especially in like Charizard Pidgeot decks, because of course like you can find it quite easily, and you'll never want to run like more than one copy of this card. But overall, I think unless your deck can find this card very easily, then I don't think there's a ton of potential for this right now. But things like Goldengo, Charizard Pidgeot, decks with like very aggressive draw engines, I do think this card could be solid. So yeah, seems quite powerful overall. Then we do also have a Tinkaton to look at from Mega Brave. Now it is worth mentioning that the Tinkatuff has a nice ability Surprise Hammer, which does have synergy with Tinkaton. So, it's nice to see stage ones that interact with the stage two and just provides a bit of support. But this Tinkaton has the attack Large Swing, which does 240 damage and then 60 less damage for each energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. So I think this card is just like a smidge away from greatness, right? Like Large Swing, 240 is very respectable damage. It's not quite one of killing anything too relevant, but it's enough for this to be considered like playable as a budget deck or something, right? But the 60 less damage for each energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon is a wee bit rough, and I just kind of wish that this had been a bit less of a downgrade, like maybe minus 30 or even minus 40, I think would have been a lot better. But like minus 60 is rough, because at that point you're not even carrying like Terpagos if you have one energy attached to them. So yeah, it's a bit of a shame really, but I think maybe Tinkerton could have been a bit better. But maybe if we get some additional energy disruption and whatever, then this Tinkerton could be pretty good. Like 70 HP Tinkertink is nice, but I don't think this card is anything special, sadly. But I thought it was worth bringing up. Like, it's interesting. The stage one is cool. Could make for a fun budget deck or a bad deck Friday kind of deck. But yeah, nothing too crazy at the end of the day. Then we also have this new Cinderace to talk about, which I do think will see play at some point, but sadly without the pre-evolutions. But this Cinderace has the very powerful ability that we've seen a lot before in the past. This time it's called Explosiveness, which says if this Pokemon is in your hand when you're setting up to play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon, so it's effectively a basic, which is really cool. And it has the attack Flare Turbo, which for one colorless energy does 50 damage, and you get to search your deck for 3 basic energy and attach them to your bench Pokemon any way you like. So it's kind of reminiscent of the Joltik that's like not really done much outside of Pikachu, but Joltik was accelerating 4 energy, but it was grass and lightning. This is just any type of energy, which is really cool. And it's also doing 50 damage, and it also has a lot more HP than Joltik, which I think makes it quite appealing. Like 160 is a sizable upgrade from 30. Plus, you have free retreat. Like I do think it's also maybe a bit better than like the Luxray that we saw from like what was it called? It was from one of those special sets a few years ago. There was a Luxray that had the very same ability, and then like Talonflame was pretty playable when it came out, but I do like the Cinderace a lot. I think it's a very interesting way of getting energy on Mega Evolution Pokemon. And I would like to see what that Mega Camerupt does, the one that was like leaked ages ago. I'd like to see what that Mega Camerupt does, because I'm guessing that could be a very solid partner for this. So, like a very fun card overall, interesting to experiment with at the very least, even if it's not like an S tier card or anything. And really, that's what Pokemon TCG is all about at the end of the day. Like, not for everyone, but for some of us, it's just about having fun and horsing around with fun cards and stuff. So yeah, I do like the idea of Cinderace. I think it could be a lot of fun. But yeah, let me know what you think about these new card reveals down below. Do they seem pretty strong to you? Are they underwhelming? Are you sick of all the ads on PokeBeach? And yeah, thank you for watching.